also my pleasure to, of course, do this today. It means a lot to me. I've just gone through my yoga teacher training, 200-hour teacher training, but I've been doing yoga for many, many years. And I knew when I was doing this training, the thing that I wanted to do is um, bring it to Gilda's Club. So I'm sort of living the dream here. I'm joined with my daughter, Cornelia. We're together. We're in a COVID bubble and we happen to be together right now. So she's going to be actually doing the poses and I'll be in a position to just talk and watch. And if at any point you're like, what? Like do something, go up with your thumb and I'll unmute you and you can ask a question. This will be about a 45-minute kind of flowy. It's going to be gentle, so there won't be too many chaturangas, but I'll give some cues to get you through those chaturangas and maybe some of the more slightly strenuous moves. But I want you to move your body. And like with any yoga, that, ooh, this is hard. If you're thinking that, that's good. Ouch is bad. So if you're ever in an ouch situation, back out of that. Everybody's body is a little different. Maybe your shoulder's wonky or your knee. Your body and absolutely listen to your body. That's true with any yoga class, really. That's true with any physical activity. But in yoga, there's sometimes where it says ouch, just back off of it, okay? So let's get started in child's pose. Your arms stretched out in front of you. Sink your hips back. Your knees can be wide or they can be more together. If they're wide, your belly is dropping between your knees. If they're closer together, your belly's resting right on your thighs. And you want to sink your hips back to your heels and breathe. You can practice square breathing, which is count at the count of 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold. Do that for 5 more rounds. Stretch your fingers out energetically and bring the pits of your elbows up off your mat. In this slightly more active child's pose, set an intention for your practice. Maybe it's something simple like peace or joy or ease. Or maybe you'd like to bring someone to mind who you want to wish well. Come up to tabletop. So bring your wrists right underneath your elbows. Your shoulders right over your elbows. Your knees are right. Oh gosh, sorry. Oh, sorry, gosh. Your hips are right over your knees. And bring your right hand out in front of you like you're going to shake somebody's hand. And stretch your left leg out behind you. You can keep your toe on the floor. Now raise your left leg so your right hand is going in the opposite direction of your left heel. And bring it back to the mat. Do the same thing on the other side. Raise your left hand like you're shaking somebody's hand. Bring your right leg behind you. You can keep your toe on the ground. Breathe in and raise that right leg up. Let's do this a couple more rounds. So you're alternating right hand up, left hand back, left leg back. Stamp that left heel to the back wall and bring it down. Now left hand up, right heel back. And one more time, each side. On an inhale, raise up, exhale, bring down. Good. Now come back to a tabletop and let's do some cat cows. So drop your belly, look up, and go Halloween cat. Arch your back, bring your chin into your chest. And let's do this for 5 rounds. Cat and cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And notice your pelvis is moving. So when you go to cow, your booty's out. And when you go to cat, you're tucking in. This is just bringing some warm up to your spine. Let's do it one more round. Inhale, cow, look up, drop your belly. Exhale, cat, tuck your chin. Good. Come back to a neutral spine in tabletop and rise up to your first downward dog of the day. So you're going to maybe shift your hands around and pedal out your feet. So your heels can go to the ground as much as possible, come up on your toes, shift around, do any shifting that feels good. You want to wrap your shoulders around your spine and you want to look down. Your hands want to be fully open and your forefingers pointing 12 o'clock. And really get your fingertips into your mat. Grip down, almost making a little bit like cupcake hands. So your fingertips are really in. Shift your heels to the right and give a bend to your knees. Come back up. Shift your heels to the left and bend and come back up. Roll forward to high plank. Come back to downward dog. Do that a couple more times. Roll forward to high plank and come back to downward dog. One more time. Roll forward, come back. Good. Step forward to the top of your mat, either little steps or a big step, and fold. Come to a halfway lift, straight back. Really straighten your back. Fold forward. Come up, halfway lift. Your hands can be at your shins or thighs. Fold forward. Come up to mountain pose. Arms overhead. If that doesn't feel good, go to cactus arms. Come down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Mountain pose, arms overhead or cactus arms, whatever feels good. Bring your hands to prayer position at your chest. We'll start practice with the sound of 1 ohm. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. So hands to mat. You can keep your knees down. Lower down halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So that's a vinyasa flow. If that's difficult for you, when we say chaturanga, you lower halfway down, put your knees on the mat, okay? Step forward to the top of your mat, fold forward, halfway lift, fold forward, mountain pose. Forward fold, halfway lift, step back to high plank, lower halfway. You can put your knees on the ground, come up to upward facing dog, chest through your arms, and back to downward facing dog. I know this is fairly energetic, but this is getting our bodies warmed up. We're going to do one more. These are called sun salutation A. If it's too much, just go into child pose. Step forward, halfway lift, forward fold, mountain pose, forward fold, halfway lift, hands to mat, go back to high plank, lower down halfway, upward facing, and downward facing. Good job. Now we're going to step your right foot forward between your hands, and we're going to come up into warrior one. Take your time to get your feet positioned. So look at your front foot, just glance down at it. Make sure your toe is facing 12 o'clock. Your back foot can be at a 45-degree angle, but the blade edge of that back foot should be really firmly into your mat. And you want to put your hands on your hips and see where they're positioned. Are they kind of facing the front of your mat? That's the goal. Maybe they're not completely facing the front of the mat, but the goal is to get them facing in the same direction as your toe. And you want to bring your arms up so that your triceps are by your ears. Now, if that's difficult, just cactus your arms. And bring your hands back to the mat and step your right foot back and lower down halfway, upward facing, downward facing. Now we're going to do the same thing, only left foot forward. Candy, go. Left foot forward, warrior one. Pointing your left toe completely forward. Bring your arms up over your head or into cactus. Lower down, hands to mat, halfway down. Upward facing, downward facing. Good job. Come into child's pose. And take 3 rounds of breath to recapture your breath. If your breath has gotten ragged, try to slow it down and bring it back to that square breathing. 3 counts of in, a pause, 3 counts of exhale, pause, and do that a couple times. Good job. We're going to go into a part of the sequence which is called awakening. So we will actually it's called vitality. I'm wrong about that. So we're going to do a couple of lunges. So with lunge, you can and absolutely do put your knee on the ground. Okay. So come up, back up to tabletop, and find your way to downward facing dog. Swing your hips back. Good. Now you're going to step your right foot between your hands. You lower your left knee and bring your arms up overhead. Take your time doing this because this is a little bit more of a balance. Good. Now bring your left hand in front of your body and your right hand behind. So you're doing a twist and you're twisting in your torso. Come forward, bring your arms up overhead, and do that twist on the opposite side. Bring your right hand forward, your left hand behind you, and twist. Now bring your arms up overhead. Good. And come back to downward facing dog. Hands to mat, shift back. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Bring your left foot forward between your hands. Lower your right knee if that is comfortable, and bring your arms up overhead or cactus, and twist facing left with your right hand in front of you and your left hand behind you. Really stretch your hands out and tuck your belly like you're zipping up your jeans. Just that slight tuck. Engage your lower belly. Bring your hands up overhead again and twist to the other side. Good. Breathe into it. Whenever we're in twists, you want to twist on the exhale and extend on the inhale. Bring your arms back up overhead. Step your right foot forward to meet your left, however you need to do that, and come into chair. So this is a squat where your hips are sinking behind you. Look down and see if you can see your toes, or are your knees blocking your toes? If they're blocking your toes, try to shift your weight back a little bit. And this is hard because you also want your triceps around your ears. For me, it's like one or the other. So you can take your choice. You can see your toes, maybe your arms are not directly around your ears. And breathe into this. If you're able to, sink a little deeper. Breathe in. Bring your hands to your chest in prayer and twist right. See if you can hook your left elbow close to your knee or not, but you want to try to stack your shoulders over one another, if that as close proximity to that as you can get. Come back, bring your arms up overhead, and let's twist the opposite direction. Breathe. In, out, sink. Good. Arms back up overhead. We're going to do that again. Twist right. Stack your shoulders. If you can hook your left elbow around your right knee, good. If not, no worries. Arms up overhead. Twist left. Well done. Arms back up overhead. And come to tabletop. hands to the mat, bring your knees, and let's do a few more cat cows. This should feel good. So knees on floor, we're in tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Your forefingers are facing the front of the room. Your knees are right under your hips, and your shins are directly behind your knees. Your toes can be folded or flat on the mat, doesn't matter, and do some cat cows. So breathe in and exhale into cat. Halloween cat and cow. Bring your chin up, sink your belly, and cat. Round your back. And come into a neutral spine. Good. Stretch your right hand out in front of you like you're shaking someone's hand. Bring your left foot behind you, toes on the floor. Now, using your glutes, raise that thigh up so you're stretching right hand out, left leg out behind you. Come back to tabletop. Do the same thing on the other side. Stretch your left hand out like you're shaking someone's hand. You stretch your right leg out behind you, stamping the wall behind you, and come back to tabletop. Breathe in, breathe out. Recapture your breath if it's gotten ragged. Breathe in, breathe out. Step forward to the front of your mat. You can just come through a downward facing dog, however you get there. Just get to the front of your mat. Now we're going to have some fun. We're going to do some balance. So if balance isn't your cup of tea, no worries. But it's really good to practice balance. You know, as we get older, our balance kind of gets sometimes wobbly. So this is a little bit of a series of balance. And we're going to start with something called eagle. So eagle is going into bent legs like you're in chair. So make your legs bent like you're in chair pose. And you bring your right knee over your left, like you're crossing your legs. If you can bring your right toe around your left shin, great. If not, don't worry, just flex those toes wherever they are. Now bring your arms up to shoulder height and wrap your right arm under your left. And make sure your elbows are at shoulder height. And breathe into this. Unwrap yourself, bring your feet together. Now eagle on the other side. Wrap your left leg, come into a chair squat. Wrap your left leg around and wrap your left arm underneath your right. Make sure your elbows are at shoulder height. And if you can, kind of point your fingers to the front of the room, like you're making the beak of an eagle. And breathe into this. Breathe in, breathe out. Flex those wrapped toes. And one more breath. In and out. Bring your feet back together. We're going to do eagle on the right. Eagle on the right. If you fall out, doesn't matter. Just get back into it. Falling out is just the most extreme version of a pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your feet back together. Bring your right knee up to hip height. And now bring your arms up. Well, your arms can be at your side and kick that foot back. We're going to go to airplane. So try to stamp the back of the room with your heel and bring your arms back behind you, palms down. Try to bring your pinkies together behind your back. And you want to have a little up dog in your chest. If you fall out, no worries, just come back to it. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet back together. Good job. Bring your left leg to hip height.
Eagle.
Sorry, eagle. My daughter's reminding me. Eagle pose. Sorry, eagle on the left. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet together. Bring your left knee to hip height. Good. And kick back slowly, like you're going through molasses. You can do this slow, slow, slow. Bring your arms up behind you, palms down, pinky fingers together, a little up dog in your chest. If you fall out, no worries. Just come back to it. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet together. We're going to do dancer. So you want to bring your right palm to the inside of your right ankle. Your thumb should be pointing up like you're hitchhiking. So just get into that pose. Your knees can be together. Your left hand can be down by its side. Now kick back. You want to really pull your right arm is pulling against your right leg, and bring your left arm up close to your ear. Your tricep can be close to your ear. The trick with this pose is you want to keep your shoulders parallel with one another. So that left shoulder isn't jumping forward, it's parallel. So you only bend as much as that's possible. Come back, bring your feet back together. Let's practice that on the other side. So you're going to grasp the inside of your left ankle with your left hand, thumb up. Get that feel. Now bring your right arm up so your triceps are around your ear and tip forward. And you want to feel that pull against your left arm and your left ankle. That's almost the way you can balance this. If you fall out, just come back into it and breathe. And breathe. This should feel good. Last breath in and out. Bring your feet together. The last position or shape in this balancing sequence is tree. I find it really helpful, and I should have said this earlier in balance, to find a drishti point. So drishti is that gaze. So you want to find something in the room that's not moving, that's straight ahead, and gaze and look at it so that it's just absolutely filling your whole vision. And breath. So it's a combination of that gaze and breath. Bring your right foot either to kickstand, Corey showed kickstand. Kickstand is where your toes are actually on the ground and your heel is on your ankle, or you can be at chin with your inside of your foot against your shin, or you can bring your foot up to the inside of your thigh. You never want to have your foot on your knee. Your hands are at prayer, and you've got drishti. Or you can raise your arms up. Whatever position, arm position works for you is fine. If you fall out, just come back into it. And we'll stay here for 4 breaths. One more. Bring your feet together. Arms at side. We'll do this on the left. So whatever position is most comfortable for your foot, come up. You can have your arms at prayer with your knuckles really into your chest, drishti, breath, or bring your arms up, grow your tree, whatever is comfortable for 4 breaths. One more breath. Bring your feet together. Good job. Let's do a little bit of core work. So sit down on your mat and come into boat pose. So it can be high boat, it can be low, it can be, so you've got your different, you can go high boat. Corey, show a high boat. Corey's in high boat. Or you can grasp your thighs with your arms, or you can actually have your elbows on the floor grasping your thighs. Whatever works for you is fine. But what's important in boat, so you can put your feet on the floor if I'm talking too much and I'm killing you. You want to be on your sacrum. So you don't want to be on your back, and you don't want to be all the way forward, kind of on the thigh part. You want to be right on your sacrum and kind of at that balance point. Okay, so come up into your boat, whatever shape that is. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Low boat. That's where and look at your toes. Come back up into your high boat. 1, 2, 3. Low boat. Look at your toes. Come up into high boat. 1, 2, 3. Low boat. Feet to floor. Lay back. Phew. That's good. Okay, now we're going to do a few flutter kicks. So when we were in low boat, your neck was up and you're kind of looking at your toes. If that kills your neck, don't do this. Just have your feet on the floor and just don't do this. But if you can manage, raise your feet, look at your toes, and flutter kick. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet to floor. Good. Okay. We are going to do 1 cobra. So I want you to rock and roll, however you're going to get into a downward facing dog. Rock and roll, or just step back into downward facing dog. And in this down dog, really try to see if you can get your heels a little closer to the mat. Maybe they don't go down all the way, that's fine. And really feel that stretch. So your shoulder blades are going around your spine. It should feel good. Come forward into high plank and lower down. 1, 2, 3. However you get there, knees on ground, lower down so your cheek is on the mat, your favorite cheek. Bring your arms out long behind you. Switch cheek, your other favorite cheek. Breathe in, breathe out. So cobra is where not cobra, we're going to do locust. Why? I get my animal parts or my animals confused. This is locust. So locust is where we bring our arms out like we were in airplane. Those are airplane arms. You want to bring your chest up off the mat, bring your chin up, tuck your chin a little, and see if you can raise your ankles up off the mat. So your pelvis is firm into the mat. Breathe in, breathe out, lower. Let's do 1 more of those. So your arms let me just walk you through it again. Your arms are an airplane, so your fingertips are kind of coming towards each other. Your chin is slightly tucked. You raise up your chest, and if you can, bring your ankles, maybe your shins up off the floor. 1, 2, 3, lower. Good job. Now we're going to come back up into tabletop, or if you want to do an upward facing dog, you can to get through to tabletop. Come back up into downward dog. And now come onto your knees for camel pose. So you're on your knees are directly under your hips. Put your hands like you're putting them in your jeans pocket in the back of your pants. So your fingers are facing down, your hands are right like they're in your jean pocket. So on this topic of jeans, tuck your tummy like you're zipping up your favorite pair of jeans. That little tummy feel, that is that's engaging your lower belly, okay? You want to bring your elbows close together and bring your chest, just the top of your chest, face it to the ceiling. It's not about dropping your neck. It's not about a huge back bend. It's the slightest bend up. It is a form of back bend. Come back to straight spine. Relax. Let's do this one more time. Hands in your pockets, zipping your pants up, bringing your chest to the ceiling, bringing your elbows as close as they can together. Relax. Come forward, back onto your back. We're going to come up into a bridge pose. So we can do a supported bridge. If you want to rest, that's fine. If you want to just put your legs straight out, that's fine. But if you're going to do bridge, bring your knees right above your ankles. Bring your arms out long on your side. See if you can touch your heels with your fingertips. Your arms, your full arm is energetic on your mat. Your toes are facing directly at 12 o'clock. Your feet are energetic on the mat. And we lift our hips as much as you can. You can put a block under your hips if you've got a block. Come up into bridge. Breathe. Really press down in your arms and your feet. Come down. Sink your hips back down. We're going to do 3 bridges. Okay, so you're going to really feel it. Come up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you need to rest, that's fine. Supported bridge is putting that block right underneath your hips. If that feels good, do that. Pop up again. Arms really in the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out and lower. And one more. Breathe in. When you're ready, come up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out and lower. Good job. Take a rest. Supta Baddha Konasana. Put your soles of your feet together, coming into butterfly. One hand at belly, one hand on your heart. Notice your breath. Rock and roll forward. Come into downward facing dog. Step back, downward dog. We're going to do pigeon on each side. So you're going to bring your right knee to the inside of your right wrist. To the extent to which your shin can be parallel to the front of your mat, that's good. Mine can't be, it's very bent. If this hurts your knee, go into figure 4 on your back, which is, if anybody needs some assistance with that, that's good. Corey's going to show you what figure 4 on your back looks like. That's where you're on your back, you're swinging your right knee over your left knee, and you're kind of grasping your left shin in, and that's that bend, or pigeon, whatever works. This is just a hip opener. You can bring your arms out in front of you with pigeon, or you can be on your forearms. So this is about relaxing into this position, but feeling that opening in your right hip. If you're in pigeon, your left leg should be straight behind you. Your toes can be tucked or on the mat. It doesn't matter. Whatever is comfortable. And breathe into this. If you set an intention at the beginning of the practice, come back and think about that intention. This is a point in the practice when our minds often wander. We've got a list of things that we want to accomplish, or our mind is going to, well, there's a lot of things our mind could be going to, but come back to your intention. Maybe it was wishing someone well, maybe it was ease or joy, or maybe it was just concentrating on your breath. If you're in pigeon, slowly make your way back up, and whatever counter stretch you need is good, and shift to the other side. If you're in figure 4, just shift your legs and go to the other side for your hip opening. You can be on your forearms in pigeon, or you can get your arms out in front of you. The point is, this should feel good. If it's ouch, just back out of it. And if it's ouch on your knee, go into figure 4 and breathe into this. One more deep breath. If you're in pigeon, swing your right leg around, and we're going to come into a seated position with both legs in front of us. If you're in figure 4, just bring both legs into a seated position, legs straight in front of you. Bring your arms up overhead, like you're in mountain pose, only we're seated. Straighten, get the crown of your head up, 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 and forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. This is about getting your lower back to your knees, not rounding your back. So it's almost a straight back that you're bringing forward. And breathe into this. If you can assist with your hands around your feet, that's good. If you can't get there, no worries. Breathe in, breathe out, sit back up. And we're going to go to Janujasana with your right foot into your left thigh. So your right foot is right into your left thigh. Bring your arms up overhead and forward fold. Bend your knee as much as necessary. Come forward. Lower back to knee. Breathe in. Now raise your right arm up overhead for a side body stretch. Stretch over your forward facing leg and come back. Switch legs. Left foot into right thigh. Bring your arms up overhead. Bend forward over your straight leg. Knee can be bent. Breathe into this. Raise your left hand up overhead and over. Extended. Stretch. Big side body stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Bring your arms back up overhead. Straighten your straighten your legs in front of you. Come down to your back for an inversion of your choice. If you have a block, I will offer waterfall. Put a block right underneath your sacrum and your legs should just pop up. You can go to a wall and put your legs against the wall or shoulder stand. If you're doing shoulder stand, I want you to really watch your neck. You don't want to strain your neck. So it should feel good on your neck. If you're in nice June, your legs are right up, your knees are over your hips are to the best extent possible over your shoulders if you're in shoulder stand. If you're in waterfall, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. If you're in shoulder stand and you're able to do plows, swing your toes back up overhead. If they touch the floor, good. If that feels good, if it's rough on your neck, don't do it. You can bring your knees to around your ears for deaf man's pose. And everybody roll out of this. Remove your block if you're in waterfall and go on your back. Bring your right knee into your chest. Bring it over to your right. And then bring it over to your left for a supine twist. Straighten your arms out into a T and gaze over your right shoulder. If your shoulders pop up off the ground, that's okay. You really want to have your hips stacked in this position. The hips stacked is the most important thing. What your shoulders are doing is secondary. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Put your right leg back down on the ground and bring your left knee into your chest. Swing it over to the left and draw it across your body into a supine twist on this side. Arms out in a T, gaze out over your left shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Draw both knees into your chest. Turn yourself into a little ball. Really scrunch, scrunch, scrunch in. Really tight ball, tight ball. And stretch your legs out into Shavasana. Your final rest. Bring your arms out, palms up along your side. Flop your feet out to the corners of your mat. And rest. Bring some movement into your toes and your fingers. Start to come back into the room from wherever you went and roll over onto your right side, cradling your head with your arm into a fetal position. Take a few breaths here. And come up into a comfortable seated position. Legs can be crossed, or you can be in hero's pose, whatever feels good. Bring your arms, your hands into prayer. We're going to end the practice the way we started it, with the sound of one Om. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Om. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead. Open your palms to the sky. The light in me honors the light in you. We bow and say namaste. Namaste.